With week 2 behind us, we surge ahead to week 3. And what better way to do that than to bring on our friends Jason Scheer from WildcatAuthority.com and Tim Fitzgerald from GoPowercat.com to preview a top 25 matchup between a couple of Wildcats. The Arizona Wildcats face the Kansas State Wildcats this Friday, 7 o'clock Eastern Time, in which might be a little bit of a wrinkle here, a non-conference game. This game was scheduled before Arizona joined the Big 12, so it actually won't count against each team's conference record. A matchup of dynamic quarterbacks. And Jason, I want to start with you. Noah Fifita, Avery Johnson. What makes Noah Fifita, Tetairoa McMillan so dynamic coming into this matchup, and what are you looking for this week against Wildcats?
Yeah, I mean, they've known each other since they were little kids, and Noah's been the quarterback, and T-Mac's been the wide receiver. So the connection that they have is pretty impressive. It's a special connection. It's almost like Noah Fifita can read where T-Mac's going, and vice versa. And so, naturally, Noah's going to look for T-Mac quite a bit, and it's been successful. And to me, they're one of the best combinations in the nation. And when T-Mac gets going, he's might be the best wide receiver in the nation, and that's one of the keys to Arizona's success is those two have to get going and really feed off each other, because when that happens, the offense is really special.
Well, I tell you what, I agree. This is the best combination in the nation. It really is. And on the K-State side, Avery Johnson is still kind of feeling his way as the starter for Kansas State. I didn't know about their existing relationship, but that's very similar to Avery and, of course, Dylan Edwards. They were childhood friends, grew up, and, of course, Dylan went to Colorado and came back to K-State to play with his friend. So this has been a very similar type of situation. They're still finding their way as two true sophomores, but Avery Johnson has a giant upside. We're still kind of waiting to see it with him now as a starter in 2024.
Tim, you mentioned Dylan Edwards, a former top 247 running back by way of Colorado. 4 touches, 54 yards, and a touchdown last week against Tulane, and they needed all of it. What do you think usage in the Kansas State offense?
Well, they still haven't maximized him. They really haven't. And, of course, they have DJ Giddens, who is plowing through 100-yard games like they're easy to do. So trying to find that balance, the offensive, trying to share the ball around has been an early challenge. They really haven't shown too much with these two guys on the field together with Avery. That might be something they unveil. I'm not sure, but I know this. Both of these dudes are very productive in very different ways.
Jason, 10 receptions over 300 yards for Tetairoa McMillan in the opener against New Mexico. Only 2 receptions for 11 yards against Northern Arizona. How do you expect Arizona to maximize one of the best receivers in the country this week against Kansas State?
Yeah, I think that second game was a bit of an anomaly. The offensive line was pretty banged up. The starting center that was his first career start. They had to move some pieces around. They should be a little healthier for Kansas State, but NAU had a really good game plan. And in the season opener, New Mexico for some reason single covered T-Mac with no high safety, and we saw what happened. NAU bracketed him the whole game. I would assume Kansas State does something similar. Because if you let T-Mac get going, you're in deep trouble. Arizona knows that. They have to come up with some creative ways to get him the ball. Even if it's screen passes, they didn't even really do that. They didn't open up the offense very much in the first 2 games. So I believe there are ways they can get T-Mac the ball that we haven't really seen yet. But even if they're short passes, they have to get him touches. They didn't really try to do that against NAU. NAU did a nice job of taking him out of the game with a lot of deep routes, but they have to find some more shallow routes, some more slants or curls, stuff like that to kind of get him the ball and let him go to work.
All right, fellas, we simulated this game on EA College Football 25 about 20 times, and it was Kansas State that pulled it out 13 times. So, Jason, I'll start with you. How does Arizona pull off a win in this game?
They have to play clean. They're one of the worst teams right now in the country in penalties. That can't be the case on the road against such a good team in Kansas State. They have to find a way to clean that up. And really, health is a big issue with this team right now. Like I mentioned, the offensive line was banged up. Poor blocking game all around this past Saturday against NAU. You have to play a clean game on the road in order to win. And if Arizona has too many penalties or lets Noah Fifita, kind of run for his life or get hit a little too much, it's going to be really hard to win. So they need to play a clean game and establish the offense early. And if they do that, they have a chance.
I think we probably both agree we don't have a full grasp on our teams at this point in the season, particularly after last week, K-State pulling out a win on the road at Tulane. But K-State had some breakdowns against Tulane that if they do that against this passing game, they're going to really struggle with it. I think K-State wins this game based on home field. It's going to be raucous and sold out, and the bill at night's awfully fun. But, man, I've been looking forward to this game. It may not be a Big 12 conference game, but it's Big 12 conference teams, and I feel like this is the kickoff for this new Big 12 for both schools.
All right, gentlemen, we appreciate your time. And just a reminder, you can find Jason and Tim's all their great work at wildcatauthority.com and GoPowercat.com as well. Make sure to tune in to 247sports.com.